Are you considering making a move to the greater Denver area? Well, you've come to the right place because I'm going to be talking about the top 12 Denver suburbs to live in or move to. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, my name is Landon Bellum. I am the marketing manager and an associate broker with Modestate, which is a real estate brokerage that is actually located and based in a Denver metro suburb. Today we're going to be talking about the best Denver suburbs that you could choose to live in or move to nowadays. So there's a lot to choose from, a lot of great cities in the greater Denver area that I'm going to be covering in this video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this list, starting off with the number one Denver metro suburb to live in or move to, and that is going to be Castle Rock, Colorado. Castle Rock holds a special place in my heart. I grew up there. I lived there for over 15 years with my family. I have seen it through a ton of development. It has changed so much just in the last couple of years. Fantastic place to live. It's about 30 plus minutes south of Denver. So it's the southernmost suburb that we'll be talking about today. Close, it's kind of in the middle, like halfway between Colorado Springs and the Denver metro, or and downtown Denver. So cool location, being in between the two biggest cities in Colorado. It has an outlet mall, it has a ton of shopping, it has great recreational areas like the MAC, which has zip lining and a ropes course, tons of fields and parks. It is just got it all. I mean, seriously, it's got every food chain, restaurant that you could, every type of food that you could want. I love Castle Rock. I personally think that it really deserves to be the best spot on this list, and it's just going to continue growing. It's just going to get better and better from here on out. It's great. Lots of great communities and places to live there, so check out Castle Rock, Colorado. Number two on our list of best suburbs in Colorado to live in is Highlands Ranch. Now, Highlands Ranch is the king of residential living. It's full of just single-family residents. I mean, just packed full of single-family residences, like everywhere. There's so many neighborhoods, so many communities. It has great schools, Rock Canyon, Mountain Vista, Highlands Ranch High School. I mean, great schools. I love Highlands Ranch. I grew up going to Highlands Ranch a lot. I had a lot of friends from there. It's a solid place to live. So take that one into consideration. It has a great location. It's 25 minutes south of Denver. It's also just centralized in between Castle Rock, Castle Pines, Lone Tree, Littleton. So really, really good city to live in. Number three on our list is going to be Littleton. Now, I always refer to Littleton as being a Colorado classic. I really love Littleton. That's where I was born. It's where my parents lived and met each other, and it's just such a good place. It's kind of the, there's a lot of older homes there, more developed residences and communities. I mean, if you go there, you'll know you're in Littleton because you'll see these giant, huge trees, lots of vegetation. It's just beautiful. It's a great city. I love it there. And, there are older homes and older communities there, but there are so many new developments, like Sterling Ranch, for example, is a great new home community. Let's see what else. Littleton is full. It's got the Chatfield State Park, the Chatfield Reservoir, Roxborough. It's great. Love Littleton. So awesome. Great views of the Rocky Mountains as well. So keep that one in mind as one of your top suburbs in Colorado. Now, jumping just north of Littleton is Lakewood. Lakewood, Colorado is a very popular choice to live in as far as Denver suburbs go, because it is located right on the west side of Denver and right on the east side of the Rocky Mountains. So it's sandwiched by these two really popular places to go. So weekends, if you want to go skiing or just go hiking in the Rockies, no problem. Lakewood's right next to them. If you work in Denver Monday through Friday, no problem. Lakewood's right next to it, and it's got more affordable housing than a lot of Denver areas do. So Lakewood, also the home of Casa Bonita, which is an awesome restaurant where they have I wouldn't say, maybe not, it doesn't have the best reputation for its food quality, but it has divers that go and perform skits and things like that, and they do diving right next to your table into this large pool. It's very cool, very unique, special place. Check out Lakewood. Now, we talked about the west side of Denver suburbs, which is Lakewood. Let's talk about the east side, which is Aurora, Colorado. Aurora is actually a really good suburb to consider. It doesn't have the best reputation. Some of the areas aren't as reputable as other areas, And I'll leave it at that. You can look into Aurora more on your own free time, but I would say that Aurora actually has a lot of good areas, affordable housing, a lot of new developments too. So I would give Aurora a chance if I were you. Look into it, see if it matches your budget, see if you can find some single family residences or condos or townhomes that fit your budget and your lifestyle. I think you'll be surprised. Location, pretty hard to beat if you need to be in the Denver area often, or if you go to the Denver International Airport frequently. Aurora is right next to it. So really interesting place, good place to consider and look at. Jumping into this one, I tell my wife, like, hey, in a few years, we're living here. This is a special place, Castle Pines, Colorado. It's an awesome, awesome Denver suburb. It's about 25, 30 minutes south of Denver. It's right next to Highlands Ranch and Castle Rock that we've already talked about. And it's like the perfect combination of like living near a city, but having more of like a mountain lifestyle. It's very immersed in nature, lots of trees, great views of the Rocky Mountains. The only issue with Castle Pines is that it's expensive. Cost of living there is super high. Lots of luxury living and very high-end single-family residences. So keep that in mind with Castle Pines. It's expensive, but man, do you get some cool living for what you pay for. Just jumping, 5 minutes north of Castle Pines is Lone Tree. Lone Tree is a smaller town geographically speaking, and it also only has a population of about 10,000 people. But man, this Lone Tree city is located right in the hub of the Denver metro area. I mean, you have Park Meadows Mall there, you have the Denver Tech Center just a little bit outside of the city limits. So a lot of people, a lot of shopping, a lot of restaurants. Like if people are looking for things to do, they often go to Lone Tree if they're in like the southern Denver suburbs. So Lone Tree is a really cool suburb, very high cost of living though, very high housing prices. I mean, the median home prices in Lone Tree are typically over $1 million. That's not to say that you still can't find condos and maybe townhomes and things like that, but the single family residences tend to be higher end, and there does tend to be a good amount of luxury living there. So keep that in mind, but it's an awesome city, super fun. Centennial is right next to Lone Tree, and Centennial is a special suburb because it's surrounded by all the suburbs. I mean, you're right next to Aurora, you're right next to Littleton, you're right next to Lone Tree, you're right next to Parker, you're right next to Inglewood. So I mean, this is a good location if you need to be in the midst of the Denver metro suburbs. Centennial is a big city. It's got over 100,000 people that live there, and you can find older, more affordable living and housing there. But there's also new builds. There's also some luxury living that is over $1 million in price and things like that. So what I like about Centennial is it's a very versatile city. I feel like other cities I've talked about, other suburbs on this list, just haven't been quite that way. They're pretty specific on what you can find, but you can find pretty much anything you're looking for in Centennial, so keep that in mind. We're jumping into the city that not only do I live in now, but this is where I am right now. This is Parker, Colorado. Parker is an, what do you call that, like a southeastern Denver suburb. So it's on the eastern side of the metro area, which is why you see it's kind of more plains, it's flatter than a lot of other Denver cities. Like usually you could look this way and you would see the Rocky Mountains in the background, you would see them peeking up. But because it's more on the eastern side, you don't really get that great of views with the Rocky Mountains, which is a bummer for me because I've always grown up living in Littleton and Castle Rock and Golden and just being right there, right next to them. So not the best views of the Rockies, but man, it is still, as you can tell, a very beautiful place, great suburb. It's an up and coming one, like Castle Rock. A lot of new stuff going on, new construction everywhere. So lots of things to do, great place to live. Inglewood, Colorado, getting close to the end of our list, is a Denver suburb that is extremely affordable, especially compared to pretty much everything that we've talked about so far. So Inglewood, south of Denver, very close to Centennial, close to Aurora, close to Greenwood Village that we'll talk about in a second, Littleton. It's just in that area, very affordable living, older living, not a ton of new construction, not a ton of new developments in Inglewood. But man, if you're looking for an affordable Denver suburb to live in, this is one of the ones that you should look at. Now, on the complete opposite side of things, if you're looking for the best luxury living in a Denver suburb, you got to check out Greenwood Village. Greenwood Village has homes that sell for not only over $1 million, but you'll find homes in Greenwood Village selling for multi-millions. I mean, this place is a special place. It's an expensive place. The Denver Tech Center is located in Greenwood Village, so it's like a business hub. and it is beautiful and cool. I mean, it feels like you're driving through Beverly Hills when you're driving through a lot of parts of Greenwood Village. So if you got the money, you got the budget, check it out. And to wrap it up, this one, it's an interesting one, Monument, Colorado. It might be a little bit of a stretch to consider this one a suburb. It is kind of isolated. It's further south than Castle Rock, so I might have lied earlier when I said the southernmost that we'd be talking about was Castle Rock. But Monument is, I guess you consider a suburb of Colorado Springs, or I guess a suburb of Denver. But all that aside, Monument is a beautiful city. And the reason I put it on this list is because a lot of people did and do tend to move there because it's beautiful and it's not that far from Denver. You could get to Denver within an hour. I think it's 45 minutes to 60 minutes to get to Denver from Monument. So a lot of people chose to live there for its affordable housing prices, and now its housing is pretty much just as expensive as Castle Rock. But still a beautiful place, immersed in nature, located just right next to the mountains. So it's beautiful, it's great. Consider this one. Very cool one, special place. All right, everybody, that is going to wrap up my list and Modestate's list of the top 12 suburbs in Denver, Colorado to live in or move to. Now, let me know in the comments. Comment below what you thought about this list. Comment below what your favorite Denver metro suburb is. And let us know below as well what videos you'd like to see me make in the future. I've got a lot of cool ideas, a lot of stuff in the pipeline, so stay tuned. Consider subscribing and liking the video. That helps the channel out a ton. And again, my name is Landon Bellum. We will see you on the next one.